Hey guys, Fluff here back with another deck profile for Attack on TCG with the Dragon Ball Super card game. Before we actually get into the deck profile, I have to apologize. 2 weeks ago, I released a deck profile with the starter coup from the first starter set. In that deck, I used the Test of Strength Goku and the Test of Strength Oob. In building and testing, I failed to read the card and see that it required a world martial arts leader, which completely killed that deck. And a few people were asking what I would use in that deck for taking out the starter coup, or for taking out the Test of Strength Goku and the Test of Strength Oob. So I kind of tested, fidgeted around, decided on things that I liked, things that I didn't like. Honestly, I'm going to say that the deck isn't where I want it to be until Miraculous Revival comes out in about 2.5, 3 weeks. But with that said, I think this is where I want the deck to be for the time being. Starting out with Super Saiyan God Son Goku on the front side of the leader. When you attack, you retap one of your energy back to active mode. When you're at 4 life, you draw 2, flip it over to awaken. And on the front side, when he attacks, you retap 2 and draw a card. And then and if you have 5 or more life, he gains 5,000. If you have 5 or more energy, he gains 5,000 power. I still really love this leader. The leader is still really relevant, even though we're now working on the 5th set. This card came out with the first set. This leader is still incredibly powerful. I feel like it adds a deeper balance to the game than Super Saiyan 3 did. I've just really enjoyed making stuff with this leader. So I'm going to keep messing with him even after Revival, but I'm really excited to mess with new leaders, but I still really love this leader. Still one of my favorites in the game right now. Getting into the meat of the deck, we've got the Awakening Talent Pans. I've discussed these at length before. You play them, you attack, you take a card from your life, they gain 10,000. At the end of the turn, they come back to your hand. This pretty much guarantees that we are going to have ways to awaken. Even if they negate the attack, we're still taking the life. It's serving its purpose. And once you're done with it, you no longer need it. It's there for combo fodder. It's there if your opponent makes you have to discard it once you've awakened. So this card is just incredibly versatile. 4 is too much because you don't want multiple in your hand, because really once you're at 4 life, you don't want to be playing this card anymore. So 3 is about right. You see it fairly often in the opening hand. You see it in the first few turns of the game. So we did leave that at 3. I believe that didn't change. Then we've got the Kind Saiyan Son Goku. This enables us to look at the top 7 of our deck, find a Son Goku, and add it to hand. This is perfect for finding our combo pieces. I kept that whole Goku engine from before. It's really all the same. This is an excellent combo piece. It's an excellent energy charge once you have your pieces. It's also excellent for just finding additional cards to add to your hand for combo power when you're ready to push for game. We do still play 4 of the Preface of Recovery Son Goku. Combined with the leader, this guy is basically paying for himself when you play him. It's a little bit of pressure. He does have barriers, so we can sit on him without people being able to pop him as easily, as there are very few effects that actually don't choose. Though once set 5 comes out, there are a lot of effects that ignore barrier and will stack them back onto the deck, or send them back to hand, or send them to the warp zone, or whatever has it. But right now, this card is still incredibly awesome as a segue piece into our stronger plays. This plus the 1-drop make getting into the 5-drop and the bigger cards that much easier. We do play 4 of the Rapid Onslaught Super Saiyan Son Goku. I find myself more often than not just using this as kind of a step into the 7 drops that we use to win the game. But if you didn't have the 7 drops and you needed to play him, he's still incredibly good. He helps you self-awaken if for whatever reason you're not there yet. He does have critical, and he also has double strikes. He's got 20,000 attacks, so he's nothing to be scoffed at. You know, the double strike and the crit in and of itself are both good, but also he's helping you self-awaken if you need it. And he's only 3 energy to evolve, so that's not that unheard of. You could easily play him on turn 3. Now, we do still play 3 of the Ultra Instinct Sign Son Goku. These are pretty much our primary winners. It's an EX Evolve for 2 blue energy. You place 1 card from your hand in the drop area. Then you need a Son Goku with an energy cost of 5 or more. So a Rapid Onslaught is usually the stepping stone there. He has Triple Strike. His permanent that your opponent can't combo when he attacks. So if they're not negating, you're probably going to deal 3 damage to your opponent. And also, when a card evolves into this card, your opponent returns all cards on the field to their hand. These cards aren't chosen, so this is one of those cards that ignore barrier. And plus the things that go into their hand, they can't use to combo with later. He has 35,000, so even at that, your opponent can't combo. If the attack goes through, there's really nothing that they're going to do to prevent that triple strike. Now, we do play one more alternate win method. This one's a little easier, but I do only play one. This guy is a blue. It's a blue EX Evolve, so 1 energy. You have to discard 2 cards from your hand, and you need a Goku with an energy cost of 5 or more, so we're still using Rapid Onslaught. He does have Double Strike. Permanent, your opponent cannot activate counters when this card attacks. So they can't counter it, they're forced to combo through it. However, his auto says when you attack, you can select up to 5 battle cards from your energy area and combo with them. So if your hand's a little low, you only have to do 2 damage, you can combo. And if we have the bigger pieces, that are set as energy, like the Ultra Sign, those are 10,000 on it. So your opponent is going to be losing a lot of resources in favor of getting over this large attack that they don't have an option to counter. So do love this card, though I couldn't really see running more than one of him. For the super combo, we are still running the boost attack Piccolos. This, of course, will change once we get into Miraculous Revival. But as of right now, it's kind of the standard for blue combo pieces. The Capito Kai is a little more controlling, but it doesn't have that consistent draw that this deck really needs to function. So until we get an alternative, Boost Attack Piccolo it is. The whole name of this game is to use the energy that we've got and do the most with it. So we do run 4 of the Unyielding Spirit Trunks. I've been thinking about dropping these guys down to 3 in favor of a couple other cards, but I really do like this guy at 4. It's never a bad time to play this card, especially if it's going to enable you to put a 7-drop Goku on the field, or play into the Rapid Onslaught, or play another 3-drop, or whatever it is that you need to do. There's never a bad time to play this card. So as long as you're running a blue leader, you should be running this card to some extent as far as I'm concerned. Then is kind of our secondary super combo, because we do have so much energy manipulation in this deck. We do run the Unbreakable Super Saiyan Son Goku. It does cost an energy, but we move energy so easily in this deck. It's nothing for us to retap 1 or 2 energy, having the spare energy to play this combo plus defend ourselves the next turn. So I do still like this. I really love the cell that's coming out, and honestly, the cell will probably earn my heart once it comes out, just because it has critical on it, and it's a good play if you have to play it from your hand to go for game. But until then, this card is still as good as ever. Now we're kind of going into the cards that I had to replace when I took out the Test of Strength Goku and Oob. So I did choose to use the Indiscriminate Obliteration Sidra. I ran 2 of these as alternative ways of awakening, plus a little bit of field control. He is a blocker, so it does provide a little bit of defense if I need it. When you play this card, you choose 1 card in your life, add it to your hand. If you choose to do so, choose 1 of your opponent's battle cards with an energy cost equal to or less than your energy and KO it. Now, the reason that I wanted to try this card, and that I ended up liking it, especially now that we have World Martial Arts Tournament. World Martial Arts Tournament has a lot of those combo pieces that they need to have on the field to build up, to play against, to get their combos to go. So if your opponent has, like, the Piccolo out, next turn you know they're going to play the hero, pop the Piccolo. There's no easy way for them to get into the Piccolo. You're playing energy for energy. No one's really playing energy acceleration right now. So you've guaranteed to have the energy to pop the card that you need to pop. It's completely disruptive and it slows them down a turn, enabling us to get into later turns where our deck becomes a lot more controlling, as opposed to this Goku evolution to go for game, but our later game is a lot more controlling. So the later the game goes, the longer the game goes with this deck, the more advantage that we're going to generate. And this is part of it. I couldn't see running 3 because we already have so many ways to awaken, but I do love what this guy does for the game in later stages. Then we do run 3 of the All-Inspiring Intimidator Super Saiyan Blue Vegito. There are a couple cards, primarily the Jackie Chun is the big one that I can think of, and the Frost that Chain Attack Trunks drops. They can just get rid of this card, and there's not really much to do for that. But play this guy turn 5. You're getting your draw. Your opponent has to attack it after it attacks. They're going to waste at least 1 card getting over its attack, getting over its defense. If I can defend it, I will, making them waste more cards. If they can't, it's really done what it's needed to do. So I didn't see the need to run 4. When I was running it at 4, I charged it a lot. So 3, I see it when I need it, but I don't see it when I don't need it. And my hand doesn't get clogged with them unless the shuffle is kind of weird. But this is absolutely an amazing card, and it's going to continue to be good even after Miraculous Revival. Then, as I'm sure maybe some of you have guessed, we do run 3 of the Beerus Universe 7 Divine Vanquisher. This card is just clutch. If you're making multiple attacks with this card, you're going to win the game. If you make the first attack, it puts you in a great advantage. If you're making a second attack with this card, your opponent is probably going to lose. If you've got 2 of these guys on board at the same time, you're going to win that game. No ifs, ands, or buts. Double strike when he attacks, your opponent has to pick cards from their hand, field, or energy area and send them to the graveyard, for which total costs 6 or more. And we're seeing less of... Zeno is still around, like the Chain Attack Zeno is still around. So that's definitely a threat, but a lot of these World Martial Arts Tournament themed decks are still using a lot of lower energy costs. They swarm. The Hercule deck, I know, swarms a ton. Where we're not running green, we don't have the combo killer, so this is almost as good as that. Just punishing your opponent for letting us get to late game. And where the game is slowing down, the longer the game goes, the better this card gets. So the more the game slows down, the more valuable Beerus is going to become, even after Miraculous Revival. He's just an amazing card to have. We only ran 3. I couldn't really justify 4 because it's not the win condition for this deck. And I mentioned earlier dropping a Trunks. One of the cards that I wanted to add was the Dragon Fists on Goku. I think he's a 6-drop. That is just amazing. I would either clear out one of the Trunks or one of the 1 combo Gokus for one of those for hyper late game plays. But for right now, this is all we really need. This was the number that I really liked there. For Overwhelms, we do run 2 Scientist Fu, and we do run 1 Mass Saiyan the Mysterious Warrior. Sorry, I forgot his name there for a second. We do run 2 of the Fu, 1 of him. One of the problems with this deck is it doesn't draw as much as maybe it could, so it does have a tendency to fall behind in hand support compared to stuff like Announcer or Hercule. But I don't feel like that's uncommon for a lot of the things that are happening in the meta right now. So we do opt to run the Fu. We run the Mass Saiyan because this deck is sort of defensive, but a strong Swarm can break this deck. So we want to be able to deal with strong Swarm if we have it. If I were in a tournament where I was siding out against something that had stronger Swarm, I'd probably remove a couple of the Fus for another of him, for another of the Mass Saiyan. So, but that's what I decided for the bare minimum on this deck, was just to have these 2. Now for our extra cards, nothing special here. We do run 4 of the Whis' Coercion. Those are pretty standard. Once Miraculous Revival comes out, we're going to have the Janemba Negate that retaps blue energy. that will get used in favor of Whis' coercion, potentially in tandem with Whis' coercion. But most of the things that I've kind of predicted and seen is that it will just replace Whis' coercion all around. Now, Whis' coercion will still be used for other leaders that aren't blue, I believe, but I think that new one is just going to completely outclass it. And then we still run Senzu Bean because those are the 4 for blues. These are really the 2 cards that in tandem make blue as good as it is right now. Though I can honestly say that there's a lot of argument that blue is losing a lot of steam right now in favor of, the Hercule deck, and Cell is coming back with an absolute vengeance, and Cell is going to get even better. Androids are going to get even better, but Blue's getting a nice boost with Gogeta as well. So that's actually it for the deck. I don't have a side built for it because, like I said, our locals doesn't really use sides. We play a 1 game. We don't really do a match. This is the revised version of Soul Striker. If you like what you saw, leave us a comment. I've noticed a lot of you have commented on the format of our deck profiles and our duels. If you like what you're seeing, please let us know. Let us know what you like about it. If there's something that we're doing that, kind of turns you off of the idea of what we're doing, except for the mistakes, that was Fluff's fault. He apologizes. But if you like what you're seeing, let us know that you like it. Let us know why you like it. If there are things that we could do to make your experience better, please make sure to let us know. And this catchphrase is stupid, but George Clinton, if you're watching, we love you and want you on the show. So we'll see you guys next time. If you like what you saw, click and subscribe below. Leave us a like, leave us a comment. We love you guys. Thank you very much. Bye.